Scott Mason. You got a very interesting story. You've got an interesting business with an unlikely proprietor.
Oh, yeah, Gerald. Our most popular stories are probably our food stories. Well, I had heard about this convenience store in Wilson. Well, just a convenience store, your average everyday convenience store, except this one is called the Gizzards and Livers store in Wilson. And in the front of the convenience store is it's almost like a buffet, just this huge spread of food. It's amazing. I mean, you have chicken gizzards, of course, and chicken livers, but there's pork chops smothered in gravy. There's chicken and rice, baked spaghetti with cheese on top. There are yams and collards and cabbage and pinto beans. I mean, it's like an endless array of food. And we got there. I think we shot that story maybe on a Tuesday, got there at 11 in the morning, and I'm thinking, a convenience store? I mean, is this going to work out very well? Are there going to be many people there? Well, the place was jam-packed. And there was so much energy in the place, and they had quite a few staff members, and they're behind the food, and they're helping people. And the main guy, the guy who owns the store, his name is Mike Assad. Actually, it's Maher Assad, but everybody calls him Mike, and he's got this funny blue hat on, the nicest guy. And he's helping people, and that's really the backstory to this. Is Mike is Palestinian, and he came over in the 1980s, came to the States, and eventually bought this business in Wilson, I think in 1989. So he's had this store, and he started out small with some food and expanded and expanded and expanded. So he's kind of an example of the American dream. Mm-hmm. And when we got there that day, 11:30 in the morning, place jam-packed, people were raving over it. Best chicken and best gizzards and livers I've ever had.
What's the difference between a gizzard and a liver?
I wish you hadn't asked me that.
I was kind of lumped them into the same kind of bowl.
I hate to admit, but I don't know if I've ever had a chicken gizzard or a chicken liver before in my life. I should have tried some while I was there because the food looked so good, but we were so busy interviewing all these enthusiastic people. Really a fun story, just the energy that was there. And so the people were so complimentary. And then Mike is there helping all these people. He had such a great personality. It's just one of those stories where you walk out and you're just smiling and you know you've hit a home run.
You have so many stories to choose from in doing Char Hill Traveler. You've developed a knack for finding the story that, and I'm pretty sure this goes through your mind, that if this interests me, it's going to interest our viewer. Did the name Gizzards and Livers kind of click when you saw that? You said, this has to be interesting.
It did. I mean, definitely. The name alone, attracted me. I actually saw a video that they themselves did. I think it was just a little promotional, hey, this is what we're having tomorrow. Come on to the Gizzards and Livers store. And I thought, the Gizzards and Livers store? But then I saw the display on the video. It was amazing. And to think it's in a convenience store.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, definitely. And a lot of times with these stories, it's like a gut feeling. And I always say the best stories are the ones with layers, where the story is about one thing, but it's actually really about something else. And another story we have coming up sort of fits that mold. This one's about the national putt-putt champion. He's the amateur champion. He's a man from Chatham County, and his name's Lynn Gaines. And I'd heard about him, and I thought, well, that's a pretty good story, the national putt-putt champion. Well, at the time he won, it was last year in 2025. He was 68 years old,
wow.
and he'd always played putt-putt as a kid. It was something he did with his two sons. It was sort of that it bonded them together.
Yeah.
Well, he got so good at it that his friends were saying, you should try out for the national championship. It's in Florida this year. Well, he, was very skeptical, but he said, well, I like going to Florida. So he and his wife dropped in the car. They thought they'd make a little mini vacation out of it. He ended up playing in the national championship, and he won. I mean, I think it's 2 days, and they played a total of 144 holes over 2 days.
50, okay.
And of those 144 holes, he got 86 holes in one.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that's why he won.
And he actually won by 10 strokes. Had a 10-stroke lead over everybody else. Well, that's a great story, and it was just a great interview as well. But the backstory is one of his sons died very unexpectedly of a heart aneurysm at 35 years old. And so when Lynn was playing in the national championship, he really doubted himself. But on the other hand, he had a calmness, and he was thinking about his son, and he said he really felt the presence of his son during the national championship. And he feels like his son sort of helped him win. So that's the backstory. It's it's a fun story, but has a little poignant angle to it.
Did you know that going in, or is that something that just came up in conversation?
I did know it going in. I knew that he had lost his son, but I did not know what role it played in him playing for the national championship. And you find those surprises all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a story and then the story just has turned so dramatically and unexpectedly. And as I say, those are the best kind.
Oh, absolutely. Because if you're surprised, we're surprised, and we all love surprises. Right?
Yeah, and there's so many great stories out there. Gosh, let's see. We'll be going to we're doing a couple of stories on the Durham Bulls game coming up. The guy still keeps the scoreboard, and he does it by hand. And then there's the longtime Durham Bulls announcer who goes out between innings, real nice fella. And then the main story we're doing is there's this man who goes to every single Durham Bulls home game, and he keeps one of those scorecards. It's a little cardboard thing, and he counts every strike, every pitch, and he just does it for fun. You don't find many people like that these days.
No, you don't. With that attention to detail.
Exactly. Yeah, it's sort of I think a lot of the Tar Heel Travelers sort of, in a way, preserving the past. And I think that's sort of the beauty of it. We're doing these old timers in small towns, and there's an element of history and poignancy and humor. It runs the gamut, not only the tone of the story, but what we're covering. And
not only we touch on the past, but a good story about the past, I believe, resonates with the present. It doesn't matter how old you are, because if it's a good story, it resonates with you. Because we all have our experiences.
Yeah.
And your stories leave everybody with a smile at the end of it.
They do, and I think it translates across generations too. I think the Tar Heel Traveler naturally appeals to an older audience because it is so much of the past and older folks and things they've accomplished. But I think the younger generation learns so much too. I've had so many people come up to me and say, I didn't know that was in North Carolina. I didn't know that was about North Carolina. I didn't know North Carolina was involved in that, in the space program and this and that. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating even for me. And I've been doing the Tar Heel Traveler for 19 years. I keep finding things that I didn't know about and going to places that I never knew about.
How many books do you have out now?
I have 6 books,
Wow.
and toying with the idea of doing maybe one last one, another food book with every restaurant, every food product I've ever done. But that's a lot of writing.
Yes.
But I love to write, so that one I've actually started that book, so it's in the works.
State Fair will take up a bunch of that, won't it?
That's right. Yep, love some State Fair food. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Forward to that.
Always good to share these memories.